Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here to speak to you a little bit about the HRB-TMRN. I won't take up too much time. This is kind of going to be a bit of a whistle-stop tour, if that's okay. As June mentioned, I'm now the Programme Manager for the HRB-TMRN, having been the coordinator since its inception in 2014. We're particularly proud to stand here today in our second phase of HRB funding. A long year has passed, and we're delighted to be entering into the second phase, building on what we did in the first round of funding, the first 3 years, and now going into the next 4 years with renewed enthusiasm, and certainly bolstered up by the attendance here today and the energy that has come from our trial methodology symposia every year. Very briefly, as I said, the story now continues, and it's not just myself, of course. There's many people behind this network, most notably Professor Declan Devan, who I'm sure is no stranger to any of you here today. He's the scientific director for the network and is the PI on the initial grant and now the subsequent grant as well. And I'm delighted to introduce Ms. Carol Burke. Carol is our new senior administrator, who only joined us a few short weeks ago and was thrown in the deep end for the symposia here today, and she's done a fantastic job. We're delighted to have her on board. So the HRB-TMRN, for those that aren't familiar with it, we are funded across five university-funded partners. So while myself, Declan and Carol are based in NUI Galway, it's actually across 5 university partners in Ireland that we operate, and our events are run nationally, and we offer our support nationally also. We're very proud to say that we have over 50 collaborative partnerships, both nationally and internationally. And this ranges from us leaning for expertise and advice on the MRC Hubs for Trials Methodology Research in the UK, right across to developing an online journalology educational course with Dr. David Moore in Ottawa. So we're very proud of the collaborations that we have built up to date. As I said, it's not just the 3 of us in Galway. This network operates across the 5 universities, and I know there's some familiar faces here that you'll see on this slide, operating across the 5 universities as our executive committee. We also have an extensive teaching faculty that also help us at events and contribute to the network, so that while the names here may be small, the network in itself can be quite large. I'm glad Mairead showed this slide, and I won't apologise for showing it again, because we're particularly proud of this slide because we operate as a central component, as Mairead mentioned. This is a recent investment in the overall jigsaw of the research infrastructure landscape in Ireland, and along with our colleagues in HRB-CRCI, the HRB-TMRN are delighted to be an integral part, operating across all facets of this jigsaw and all pieces of this jigsaw. On the right we have the CRCs and CRFs, and as well with the disease-specific CTNIs, or Clinical Trials Networks Ireland, on the left, with which we have embedded trial methodology research. I like to call this somewhat of a party piece slide, because I get to show off some of the KPIs that we've developed over the last 3 years. We have over 1,900 followers on Twitter. We communicate every fortnight with nearly 4,000 people, keeping them up to date in the area of trial methodology. In our first 2 years, we organised over 160 events, which means over 1,700 hours of teaching specific for trials that have been developed since our inception, and welcoming over 6,000 delegates at our educational events. We also are very active in HRB grant application support. I suppose something that came organically since we started, and we didn't set out at the outset thinking we would do so much of this. I'm delighted to say that at the last DIFA call, or the Definitive Intervention and Feasibility Award call, over 50% of applicants that eventually went on to apply contacted us in some capacity prior to applying to the HRB. And when the next call goes live on the 1st of November, we're very hopeful that we can build on that number and have even more applicants liaising with us in some capacity around trial methodology and making sure that their application goes in and has the best shot of being funded. So very briefly, I'm just going to go through some of the newer items that are happening for the HRB-TMRN over the next 4 years. And I suppose we're moving towards this concept of getting real about trial methodology. And a colleague of mine in NUI Galway, Patricia Healy, came up with this idea around, it's not trial morology, it's trial methodology. And what we mean by that is we're not actually funded, the HRB-TMRN is not funded to deliver on answering clinical questions. We're here to answer methodological questions alongside answering clinical questions. So it's not just the doing of trials. That's what the rest of the jigsaw is all about, and fantastic supports already exist to do this. We want to make trials more relevant, accessible, influential, and more cost efficient by answering methodological questions within your research. I wanted to make this look a little bit dramatic because I know for some people that step is a little bit beyond them so far, but we just had a 3-day event led by Peter Doran in the UCD, the Winter School and Core Concepts in Clinical Trials. And at the start of it, with a cohort of 30 people, I asked them, hands up who's answering a methodological question. I was delighted to see that there was a good proportion of the room that actually people were embedding SWOTs and embedding methodology research going forward. So our focus is, okay, we'll still be there to join you on the journey of the clinical question, but we are going to get serious and get real about embedding methodology research and having that as a primary area for research. So we already have 4 PhD students in the network whose entire PhD is centred around methodology questions, and we will have 4 more joining us shortly as well to continue on that road. Very briefly, in our training and education, as I mentioned at the start, we're very proud to have this unique, bespoke, online, asynchronous journalology course, which was developed for us by Dr. David Moore in the University of Ottawa in Canada. It's an online course. You can do it at your own time, at your own pace. There's more information in your brochures, and I'm very happy to talk to you more about this throughout the day. And there's more information on our website. And this was developed specifically for the HRB-TMRN by this group, and I believe Dr. Ben Goldacre contributes to the content of this course also. We've also decided that we really want to tailor the training that you need, and to help us identify this better, we're going to open an open rolling call so that people can come to us and apply for funding specifically for training for trial methodology topics, so that you can bring this to your own institution. So it may mean that you are interested in having a workshop delivered by somebody, for example, in the UK, who's particularly interested in a particular area of trial methodology research, and you can also benefit from all of the promotional and organisational mechanisms that the HRB have set up. I'm delighted to say that next year we're taking you all west. We really hope you will come with us to Galway for the 4th Trial Methodology Symposium. We will shortly officially announce the theme, but we believe it will be methodological innovations in trial methodology, and this will happen possibly next end of September in 2018, and we really do hope you will join us in Galway for that. So from research and innovation perspective, as many of you know, we are a funder in our own right. So we, through the funding we've received from the HRB, we give out awards, again, specifically in trial methodology funding. To date, we've operated a very successful SWOT funding call. This is a study within a trial. We had 3 awards in 2017 of €10,000 and 3 awards in 2016 of €10,000. This is one of our 2016 SWOT awardees based in UCC. But we are upping this to one award now of €20,000. So you can apply. All of the information is available on the website. I'm very happy to talk to anyone about the process for applying for this award. But this is to embed a methodological study within a trial, or study within a trial. Delighted to say that we have 7 of our undergraduate summer scholars here with us today, and during the coffee break there will be a poster viewing session at the very back. I strongly encourage you all to go and meet with them and see the fantastic work that they've done over the summer. We will be announcing the winner of the poster prize this afternoon at the closing session, but we will continue to deliver on summer scholarships, again specifically in the area of trial methodology research. 5 will be funded annually, again across our funded partners. The funding will be pre-allocated to the abstract, so as a supervisor, you know that you can approach a student knowing that you have the funding in place. And it's similar to the HRB processes. It's €2,000 per award per student. We've even gone as far as, if you're looking for a research question, we can tell you the research questions you should be looking for. So if you're new to the area of trial methodology research and you're hoping to find a question that you want to get involved in, look no further. We have, through a HRB KEDS award in 2015, developed, along with our partners in the James Lind Alliance in the UK, an Ireland and UK partnership that set out to identify the top 10 research questions relevant to recruitment to randomised trials. A lot of these questions fit very nicely, as in SWOTs would fit very nicely within these questions. And we now actually have a top 20 prioritised list. The entire methodology for this process, which took over 1 year, hope soon will be published within Trials. And also we will share all of this information with you very soon. There will be a bespoke website, and I'll send out the paper to all of you as well to have a look at this. I can share the number 1 question with you today. So the number 1 question, which was agreed from all stakeholders relevant to randomised trials, that includes members of the public invited to take part in trials, healthcare professionals, PIs, researchers, PhD students, was how can randomised trials become best part of routine care and best utilise current clinical care pathways? And again, we will share the full list of 20 questions with you, hopefully soon. And then before I finish up, just to highlight that along with our renewal award from the HRB, we were delighted to get a pot of funding to look at conducting a primary methodology piece of research. This will start in January 2018 with our colleagues, both led by NUI Galway and our colleagues in Trinity College Dublin. The title of this will be Education and Training for Recruiters to Randomised Trials, and we're doing this in collaboration with our colleagues in Aberdeen, TrialForge, Quest in Galway, and also Orca in Liverpool. And then very briefly, we're still continuing to offer the same levels of support that we always have. The HRB-TMRN is really a one-stop open shop for you to come and have a chat with us about your methodological needs. But certainly we don't turn down any question. If it's not relevant, we'll direct you to where we can best get some support and advice. And this includes our clinical trial expertise database, which is a free, open, searchable database of experts in trials in Ireland, and also our trial methodology and reporting advisory service, which is also available to access through the website or indeed an email to myself or to us at the HRB-TMRN. So just to conclude, I want to say thanks again to all of you for joining us here today. Sincere thanks to this morning's speakers, and I'm very happy. I'll be floating throughout the day, very happy to answer questions if anyone should have any throughout the day as well. Thank you very much.